Today I'm going to sow some rocket, something that we all love in our salads these days. We've got two kinds of rocket. You've got salad rocket, which is milder and not so jaggedy edgy, and then you've got wild rocket. Wild rocket's a bit stronger and more peppery. So I'm going to just sow one row of these in this square metre bed. With rocket, a bit like lettuce, you don't want to grow too much too quickly. So I'm just going to put one row in, and as you can see, I've already got some coming up already. So it's quite simple. First thing is, probably leave about 8 or 9 inches between rows, and then make a line with a dibber. The rocket doesn't need to go in too deeply. What you have to remember though is that rocket is a brassica, same family as cabbages and cauliflowers. So what you don't want to do is sow it in the same bed where cabbages or broccoli and things like that have been growing in the last 2 years. So make sure that it's a brassica free bed. Okay, so you make a line there. And I'm going to sow this wild rocket because I love it. I love the look of it, and say it's a pepperier taste than salad. You get lots of seeds in a packet, so you don't need to be too precious with them. So you just open them up. There you'll see some very, very fine seeds. Very fine indeed. So you need to sow them very thinly. So about, if you can, about 1.5 inches apart, and just gradually drop them in to the drill. Now it doesn't matter when they start coming up that they're too close together, because what you can do is just, as they're coming up a bit larger than this, you just thin them out, and you can use the thinnings out in your salads. Eventually you probably want about 6 inches between them. So it's simply a matter of putting them in there. Then you just cover it over and put your rocket tab in, and then you know where they are, and within a few weeks they'll be coming up just like these are already. If you don't want to sow them outside, you can sow them in a pot using a simple method, and you'll have lots of rocket all summer. Sow from March onwards up to September even, but you will have to think about, in the early days, putting a cloche over them so that any early frosts don't get to them. But the other thing with rocket is flea beetle, and what you'll find is when the plants start to mature, there'll be lots of little holes in your rocket. So one way of solving that is to place some horticultural fleece over it, like so, and that will keep them at bay. So the other thing is, if you've got a polytunnel or a greenhouse, you can sow rocket virtually all the way through the year, as long as you keep the frost away and it doesn't get too cold, and you keep them covered. These were sowed a few weeks ago, and they'll be ready in about another month for picking.